Today, we look at the exclusive to V-Jump version of Goku in his little dragon boy, Shenron. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in the internet images of the internet. And I am very excited to have this because it's just the best, most maybe adorable version of a Goku. Look at the artwork on the front of this thing. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. This was a very hard to get thing from a few places online, but if you were in Japan, you technically needed to subscribe to the V-Jump magazine, and then there was some weird process in order to get one. So, if you were outside of Japan and you couldn't do all this, I don't know all of the options, except for going to KOWKIS, and KOWKIS has helped me out with a lot of stuff. These are expensive, not to mention the time of the year that we're trying to buy stuff outside of the US, from outside of it to inside of it. It's just crazy. But also because it's part of the Jump Comics thing, it's just a lot, and I'm sorry. So let's just slide this thing open. If you do want one, obviously I'll put a link down in the description. I do have a 6% discount. That might help you save something. It is free shipping, so that helps. But this little tiny Goku, we're also gonna look at the other versions of Kid Goku and just do a little comparison, just a little quick kind of side-by-sides. It's really hard to want to open this thing because, you know, it lost its value as soon as I took it out of the brown box. It's gonna lose more value as soon as I take out this box, but that's okay. We don't buy toys to sell them. Hello, and if you do, what's your problem, man? Hey, what's your problem, man? Oh, you're a store? Okay, that makes sense. But if you're just a dude flipping stuff, come on. Opening up this beautiful box, Ola, and we slide out the goodies. This is a thick boy too, so it's getting flimsy. Ooh, there's a little card in there. Don't throw this box, Jonathan, because you always do. This is special. This is a special time thing. Let's see what we got here. We got a purple card that can go with this little thing. What is it? Just some sort of instructions? Some bonus stuff? Let's delicately cut open the plastic and slide out the card. Okay, there's the instructions. So this is a little different. Well, this is a little more familiar, I guess, is what I mean to say. So you get a lot of hands, you get swappable belt parts, you get a tail, you get the head and swappable face parts. We have instructions on how to build Shenron. I assume this is still Shenron. Why wouldn't it be, right? This, okay, pay attention right now. He's also got Tonfa, and I forgot that that's what those things are called. Okay, in this little book, oh, it's so beautiful. I love little books. I like flipping through stuff and seeing all the art. Look at that. Ah, my goodness. Just living through the memories of Akira Toriyama. Here's our little action figure boy in all of his glory with scene-specific representation. Now, this is from the manga, obviously, and the black and white is how it was drawn. I would say it's definitely worth translating and reading what all of this is here. And maybe I'll do that. So there's like a little Q&A about the whole project. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use the translation app and then snap some photos. You could do that. You could screenshot, just translate the text. This is so cool. How fun. Not often you get to see this kind of stuff with any action figure. And obviously this is a big deal. This is a very specific version to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Dragon Ball. All right, now we're on to the goodies of this whole purchase. We have 3 tiers of stuff, and having a Shenron in the box does kind of, and a stand, and clouds, does kind of help with the price a little bit when you're trying to justify it. I mean, if you were in Japan, you could go through the whole process of getting them. Not so bad, price-wise. I don't know why I put those instructions away, because I know I'm gonna need them in order to put our little stand display together. Look at how adorable he is. Ugh, I'm so angry.
He's so cute that I'm mad.
Well, let's look at this and put it together, and that way we can really have the space and time for Goku. We have this beautifully done matte finish stand. It's huge. A little bit of info on the bottom, irrelevant to anybody that doesn't care about it. These were actually very easy to pop out, just push through the bottom, so that's nice, because sometimes I really struggle getting these things out. Little tiny pieces to definitely lose. Now, the instructions do tell us which parts to put where, but do these have labels on them? I don't see any labels on the clouds, but the instructions have labeled them. So this kind of makes it a little tough. Am I crazy? Anyway, the clouds, wonderful. We're just gonna try it. Anyway, that's where we're at so far. Let's see what happens. We got our beautifully executed Shenron. Let's zoom in a little bit because this thing needs a little bit more love and attention from my end. This, my God, I love this. This really does look like the illustration from the front of the manga. Now, it looks like he's got jaw articulation, but he doesn't. It's just the way they built it, which is fine. This is all done so well with the sculpting here, and there's like just enough highlight going on in the edge of the scales that just kind of looks so natural. Oh my God, this is great. In person, it's even more beautiful than what you may have expected. I don't know if this video is going to do it any justice. I really hope it does, because I want you to appreciate and see how incredible this thing is as much as I'm seeing it that way. Does that make sense with the words I'm using? Probably not. Let's find these little whiskies, plug these guys in. Now, there are unique shapes on these, on the tips of them. I don't know if you can see that well, but that way you don't put the wrong side on and you don't do it upside down, which of course then just kind of limits that's the only way you can do it. We have this little orange piece, which I don't know what that is. And then this piece, which you can swap out his dorsal fin, as they call it. Oh, it's magnetized. Amazing. So you don't really have to worry about like the difficulties of lining him up. It's just magnets everywhere. That looks so good. I mean, this is just great by itself, which makes me now appreciate having that swappable dorsal fin, so you could just leave him as he is and maybe have Goku next to him or whatever. This makes me so happy. I cannot express how happy this whole set has made me so far. Again, I don't know what this little orange piece is for. It's probably a pry tool or something, like maybe they wanted you to use. I don't know. I don't see it anywhere in the instructions on the back, which these are all the Shenron parts. Oh, the pry tool for his belt. Okay, well, we figured it out thanks to instructions. Now we get on to the main event, which is little Mr. Goku. Little Kid Goku, manga cover edition, hyper cute, comes with a boatload of hands, which is awesome considering a manga cover, but as we saw from the inside of that pamphlet thing, it kind of went into different scene-specific versions of this kid, Goku, so that you could really maximize, I guess, like scene-specific things and put a little more value into this guy. So, let's take everything out. This is great. Let's just jump into it. There's a lot to look at here, so let's start with the hands that he's got on by default. So, a tiny, tiny little version of his power pole, but, you know, manga-specific version. Tiny little boy. He's got this flat hand on by default, and it's on the right, but you do get a left one in the box. And then this gripping hand on by default, but you also get a right one in the box. So left and right, flat hands. Left and right, power pole gripping hands. Left and right, fists for good old-fashioned punchies. Now, I gotta say, the sculpt on these things looks so good. He's got little tiny fingernails, which might be a little hard to see on camera, but they are there. We have a couple of open palmed hands, which you could be for anything. I mean, when did he really start doing ki blasts? I don't know. I'm actually not very knowledgeable on the history of Dragon Ball. And some of you don't like when I don't know 100% of everything about Dragon Ball Z. But whatever, I'm old. It's been a long time since I've seen stuff. We get a couple of peace hands, which are adorable. Look, you can see the fingernails. Maybe. See? We get a left and right of this hand, which I'm guessing is like a fighting stance of some sort, or like an actual like attack hand. Yeah! And you know what? I also have this set of instructions that tell you everything that it just says hand parts. And we have these, which I don't know what's so special about these. Maybe specific to it might be just specific to a panel. And then could be for holding Shenron. Could just be another way to hold his power pole when he's got it in his hands, like that. See? I just figured it out with my brain. I'm an idiot, but sometimes I have brain moments. The face that's on by default is absolutely adorable, of course. I mean, just look at it. It pulls right from that nostalgic stuff of Dragon Ball that I just told you a minute ago I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of, but I've seen it a lot. The little belt piece, it's on like a tiny, tiny little nub, and you definitely don't need that pry tool because it popped off on its own earlier. But you take that, and then you do this one, which is a really cool thing. It's like, again, they're doing a very scene-specific version of something, but it gives so much more dynamic, like, action for such a little tiny piece of his clothing there. That's cool. I dig it. In the box, you got a little tiny tail, and historically, the tails have not been that great. Like, they just pop in with a little ball socket, and then sometimes they break over time, which is very unfortunate. I'm hoping that this guy can, like, hold up long term, because if anything happens to this little guy, like anything breaks, that's it. I'm not gonna buy another one. These things are too expensive. And then we got this little bag, which I don't know. I mean, the front of the manga stuff can be very, very specific, or just like made up things that are only on the cover art. Maybe they're senzu beans, but when did those beans arrive the first time? We have the power pole in its little sheath, which is great. And then of course you can pull the little tip out, and then you just need to remove a head, slide it over, and boom, there you go. Now he's ready for action. The craziest part about these is that just this little cap comes off. We're supposed to, yeah, like that, so you can slide it into these other hands, which, I mean, it's great that that's the way it works, but my goodness, it's such a small piece. There you go. Cute. Look at that. There is alternate face number 1, which I love that expression, and it very much looks like of its time with the way the line is for the mouth. This is wonderful. And it's all just like slightly brown. It's not even black, which I appreciate. And we got this one, which is a great kind of cheese in face. Whoops. And maybe ready to kick somebody's butt. I dig it, man. This is so good. I'm angry with how much I love this thing. Now we're into a really unique thing where like the head that's on by default does not work with this faceplate. So we have to use this alternate set. That's what they look like side by side, so there's clear difference in these changes, but it's scene specific, the way all the hair's drawn. But this is so good. This is like he just witnessed he just saw Bulma's panties. Oh my god. Look, if you watch Dragon Ball, you know, that's just how it works. And look, they even considered that when they made the panties. I'm gonna stop saying panties. And with the original head, you have swappable bang parts, so that you can make it look different for whatever the reason is. I don't know. I mean, the reason is scene specific, whatever. But I just appreciate that they're including so much stuff in this little set, especially when you consider how much the price of it was. How much the price of it was. Yeah. So if you could tell the difference, then congratulations, because it's very minimal. So finally, we got to talk about the articulation of this face. This face is great. Let's take this head off. Let's remove this thing so that we can really get a good look at the range. Okay, so the head goes side to side really well, looks down perfectly, looks up to perfection. He's got this kind of neck gap, which is a little unfortunate, but at least the neck does have some articulations, should help some range a lot. Arms, let's see, we have limitations for sure if you go straight up, so you gotta rotate these things to get them, and then there's rotation obviously right there. You have some sort of butterfly joint design that's allowing for some really nice crossed arms. They go back pretty well. Just a very simple pinned elbow, which is a bit unfortunate that they actually went with a pinned joint, but it's so tiny at the end of the day, like you don't really care with your human eyes. And then there's just this kind of peg for the wrists, so you don't have a ton of range on the hands because of that, but he's also so small. What are you gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna do? He's got some serious movement there in the body. You can go side to side. You can crunch really well. My God, that's great. Now be careful with that front part of his pantalones, his belt popping off there. The tail obviously rotates back there, it's just on a little ball peg. Then the legs go into splits. We got, that pops apart just like normal. S.H.Figuarts kicks forward okay. Not that great because of the way this is cut. simple knees and just little pegs for the feet. So not a lot of range on this little guy, but at the end of the day, he's probably just going to sit on top of that dragon and look awesome. The GT Kid Goku that you can get directly from Tamashii Nation's stores. I mean, it's a great figure. Definitely has that specific style, but it's massive in comparison. You have GT version. What did I call this one? We have the regular Dragon Ball version of Kid Goku. The GT version, which height-wise is definitely getting closer, but you can still see there's a major difference in the way these are designed. And then finally, we have our Dragon Ball Daima, which is probably the closest in terms of looks and having the power pole and everything. This is really interesting. I mean, this is the fat little chubby armed version of Kid Goku that is very much Dragon Ball, where this is, you know, the thinned out thing that Akira Toriyama really wanted to do. Do the heads swap around? These probably, because the pegs seem like they're identical. So we put a Daima head. Yes, Daima works perfectly. And then you could take the old one, or the new one, and put that on Daima. Looks so silly because the styling is so different, but it definitely works. And then, of course, the height of the neck is a bit different. Beyond that, this Goku has a very different type of setup for his head. It like the way it plugs in is this huge square piece, so you cannot do that. You can't do head swaps with this one, and it would look weird because the skin is so much more yellow. This version of Goku, yeah, totally different neck peg, so and skin tone. If you could, I'm sure if you really wanted one, AFFM Customs would be able to make one, but that's not a swap I would ever care about. This guy solely is the perfect little Kid Goku. And this is actually very well executed, so this just slides across that thin crotch piece and then locks in around his tail. And then there you go. You did it. Oh my God, this makes me so happy. And I think a lot of the happiness is just purely based on how adorable it is. The magnets are a huge help for this little guy. Considering that this is just connected with magnets and then he's locked in with that piece, I mean, it stays on for sure. I'm so happy. I hope that if this is something you're interested in, that you're able to get it. I mean, I have a link down in the description. Again, it is expensive. So it's just got to be something that you really, really want. And like, that's your Christmas present, okay? Either to yourself or from everybody you know chipping in to get it for you. But this is going to be an incredible piece to have on the shelf. I am so happy about this. And thank you to KOWKIS for having these things and helping me out to get a hold of this thing. This is everything. This is probably going to be my... oh no, I got to be careful. Favorite thing of the year, maybe? I've got a couple favorites already. But this really brings me so much joy. Ooh, this is going to be tough. When we're getting close to the end of the year, is anything going to come between now and the end of the year that's better than this? I don't think so. There's nothing out there that I am considering in my brain space that's really that great. Anyway, if you enjoyed this and you want to see some other Dragon Ball stuff get reviewed, then click the top link there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.